Do you think it's fair to say it's Justin Fields' job to lose now?
No, not yet. Not when you're coming off a game and a season opener, albeit, where all you could register was 6 field goals. You couldn't get into the end zone. I'm not going for that. And you threw for less than 200 yards. Give him credit where it's due. He didn't commit any turnovers, okay? I think he was only sacked twice, and he ran the football effectively, 14 carries, 57 yards. He extended plays, moved the chains, and I give him credit where credit's due. It was nice to see a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback that had legs, because we haven't seen that in a few years. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Having said that, there's still some issues with his accuracy, to say the least. First pass of the game, he was inaccurate. We all know this. We know we saw him throw a couple of deep balls to George Pickens. The man, he's done that well, and he should do more of it. But we have to see more. I'm not sold on Justin Fields yet. I know he's the future. I certainly like him better than Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph or certainly Mitchell Trubisky. No doubt about that, which were the 3 quarterbacks the Steelers had last year. But in the same breath, with Russell Wilson there, with Denver paying $37.8 million of his salary, with Russell Wilson in a position to produce for you and only costing you $1.2 million, I have no doubt that Justin Fields will be the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers beyond this season. But for the purposes of this season, considering that veteran leadership, somebody who's been there before, somebody who knows a thing or two about playing in tough situations and winning football games, the decision-making, a bit more accurate in throwing the football, I wouldn't say that this is Justin Fields' job to lose. I think that right now it's still Russell Wilson's job. I think it's Justin Fields that has to go out there and prove that it's something that he will deserve. I think they have every intention of putting Russell Wilson in the second they believe he's healthy enough to go.
Yeah, I don't think so, Steve. I think, listen, I think Fields may not play great, and so Wilson will get a chance. But I think it's Wilson's job until they either lose or he's bad, one or the other. If they win games, he's going to play. I mean, they are not going to take a quarterback out who's winning games to put Wilson in. And Wilson wasn't going to play this weekend anyway. The last thing Tomlin wants is to deal with Wilson in Denver, getting booed and everything else, and him trying too hard, and they lose the Broncos. Let Fields play, calms everybody down, and hopefully against Knicks, who can't score, they can win another 15-10 game. So there is no way Wilson was going to play this week as it is. Now, listen. If you're going to tell me that he's only going to kick 6 field goals, there's going to come a time where he's going to do a lot more than that. And so Wilson probably will get a chance, because I don't think Fields is that good. What is he, what'd you have as a starter? Was he 8-21, whatever that stat was I just saw on the screen, as a starting quarterback? So I think his performance will give Wilson a chance, but he controls that performance.
Yes.
He plays well. He's the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh.
100% agree with you, Doggy. And in fact, Steven laid it out. The fact that, Steve, you said Justin Fields is the future. He's the starter right now. It is his time. If he plays well, you cannot remove him from that job. Listen, players just want to win, and receivers, pass catchers, they just want to catch catchable balls. The issue with the Steelers offense right now is that this is a team that has been dying, thirsty for an explosive offense, for some dynamic quarterback play, and they haven't had that yet. But here's the area that Justin Fields has an edge over Russell Wilson, as we talked about. You, as a defensive coordinator, as a defense, you have to at least scheme for his legs and his arm. You have to, that's an area where you don't have to prepare for Russell the same way. So right now, because of injury, it's almost like Mike Tomlin was able to make a decision without having, like, his hands, you know, at this point, he's able to make it without making a decision. Russell is hurt, so we go to the kid. And if the kid plays well, you can't remove him. And as Steven, you said, he's the future. So right now, it's not Russell's job. Because Russell isn't, didn't you hear Tomlin? He's not available. He's hurt.
I have to do a better job of making my point, because clearly neither of you are getting it. I am not saying if Justin Fields plays well that you take him out to put Russell Wilson in. I'm saying it ain't his job yet to lose, because we haven't seen anything that warrants him having the job to begin with. The only reason he's the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 1 against Atlanta is because Russell Wilson was hurt. If Russell Wilson wasn't hurt, I didn't hear Kimberley, I didn't hear Jeff, I didn't hear Dominique, I didn't hear RC, Orlovsky, or anybody else say that Justin Fields would start in Week 1. Everybody and their mama expected Russell Wilson to be starting, and then we were informed that Russell Wilson and his calf injury would keep him out of game 1, which means that Justin Fields doesn't have the job. He's the fill-in until further notice. Now, if he goes out there and plays exceptionally well, they reserve the right to change their mind, but they had no intentions of him starting week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons. That was going to be Russell Wilson's job until they learned that he had agitated his calf and he couldn't play. So he doesn't have the job yet. And if he doesn't have the job, it's not his to lose. It's his to lose when he goes out there and plays like a QB1, which he has yet to do. Is that clear?
How about, is this clear? You're saying the plan was this, but who started week 1? Justin Fields. Who did you say is the future? Who did you say is the future? Justin Fields.
The future.
So if he
as in next year.
Steven, now you know we all sat around this desk and said the Steelers' plan is going to start Russell Wilson, but at some point he will falter and they will turn to Justin Fields, right? Why do you think he would be the future? Why, hold on, why would you think he'd be the future in 2025 when we haven't even got through 2024? You wouldn't want to put him on the field? You wouldn't want to see what those goods look like?
Because Justin Fields is significantly younger. They're looking at him in a long-range plan. There are people that you look at and they have the talent, but they need some seasoning, they need to learn, and you know they're the future, and you're going to bring them on the come-up as time progresses. Yeah. Russell Wilson, this is pretty much it for him, but they believe this is his experience and what he does in terms of throwing the football a bit more accurately than Justin Fields is why they were going to start him. It is not Justin Fields' job.
S.A., I want to talk to you about this one first. Tell me this. Do you feel like Allen and Tua will be in the MVP convo by the end of the season?
I definitely think Tua will be. I'm going to say yes with Allen because I think Allen is just a fantastic player. And I think that my concern with Allen is his health because I think the positions that he's been put in are a bit too risky. When you know you're piling into the end zone for those touchdowns, he got hit both times. You know, and when he leaped over one of the defenders, keep in mind, what if that guy had hit his knee? We got to remember that this is professional football. This is the National Football League. Okay, these are men out there. And when you put yourself in those kind of precarious positions, it just shows what a stud Josh Allen is. But in the same breath, it doesn't mean he can't get hurt. And I know they were looking at his wrist and all of this other stuff, but I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about something far more serious. And so I'm concerned about him being put in those positions, particularly with cats like Davis and Stephon Diggs now gone, and him relying on a relatively young receiver like this kid out of Florida State and what have you. I get all of that. But I'm just of the mindset that if he's on the field healthy, the Bills are going to have something to say because he's that big time of a player. In the case of Tua Tagovailoa, I think that 80-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill is emblematic of what I was trying to say. The brother's going to put the ball in the air. 8 of their games are going to be in Miami. From what I'm told, the weather is going to be at least 70 degrees plus. And when that happens, the Miami Dolphins don't usually lose games with Tua and Tyreek Hill out there playing in that beautiful weather. So these are the kind of things that we have to pay attention to as we're moving forward. He's going to have Jalen Waddle to throw the football to. He's certainly going to have Tyreek Hill to throw the football to. And as electrifying as Tyreek Hill is, and the numbers that he's going to put up, just his connection with Tyreek Hill alone, without taking into account Achane and Waddle and all of these other cats, and not even Mike McDaniel's play call. I mean, just taking into account that dynamic duo, what Tua and Tyreek Hill can do together is going to put Tua in the MVP conversation because the MVP conversation is a regular season award. And as long as they ain't playing in 40-degree or less weather, they've shown you they got a chance. Even though they struggle in 70-degree or less weather, they really, really are miserable in 40 or below. They don't win games under those circumstances. But I think they got a chance because of Tyreek Hill and the kind of numbers he's going to put up with Tua throwing on the football.
All right, 2 quickies. I agree with Steve about Allen. He is, in my eyes, he's by far the second-best quarterback in football. He's great. He plays hurt. He runs. He's competitive. I mean, he is a tremendous – he's underrated, actually, I think.
Absolutely.
He's that good. He's played great against Mahomes. That's number one. Number two, let's be honest. If ETN doesn't fumble the ball out of the end zone, that game's over. Jacksonville's about to go up 24-7 late third quarter.
Yep.
And so he's fortunate, Tua, to get out of that game. And Hill's their best player offensively anyway. He throws a little 5-yard pass pattern, and Hill goes 90 yards. He's that good.
That's right.
Hill's the best receiver in football. So I think in a lot of ways, Tua gets helped by Hill, and he's the best player, not the quarterback. And until Tua beats a good team in a big spot, he's bad against good winning records, you know that,
yep.
and he's bad in cold weather. I cannot, Steve's nuts, I cannot put him in the MVP category myself.
Yes, I agree with Stephen A here. I think he's going to be in it because of, I don't think people look, and you know, you talk about throwing a 5, he can do that, but he throws the ball deep as well, Tua does, to get it to Waddle, to get it, and their offense is so explosive. His numbers are going to be there. It's going to be so hard for him not to get to the numbers that put him in that category because, like we just saw Dak Prescott throw for 160 yards. You just see, I mean, they just don't have – Miami is going to have numbers. Mike McDaniel offense in that weather with the speed they have all over the field, whether it's dump-off screens, deep balls, you know it, they're going to exploit some defense. They're going to put up some big numbers. Those numbers and touchdowns put you in the MVP conversation. So Tua will be there, and we have seen what Josh Allen continues to do year in and year out. He'll definitely be in there. But, yeah, I think Tua's in the conversation just because of how explosive their offense will be.
Yeah, I don't think so because their best player is the receiver. But go ahead, Stevie. I'm sorry.
Well, see, here's the problem. Here's the problem. You and your damn histrionics, doggy. You know, you just get a little bit extra unnecessarily sometimes. It's what you do, okay? First of all, it's a regular season award. How many yards did Tua throw for on Sunday? Because at the end of the season, we're going to be counting that, right?
300
Man threw for over 300. I think what was it? 338. I think it was like 338 yards. Yes. Etienne, he fumbled near Travis, he fumbled near the end zone. The very next play was when he hooked up with Tyreek Hill for an 80-yard touchdown. It's just like that. And so now you got to ask yourself, how often can that happen? Well, Tyreek Hill has reminded us repeatedly. With him, it happens quite often. Now, some people say Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football, and I don't knock them for that. But I don't knock anybody for thinking that Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in football either, because I will tell you this. He is clearly the most feared. He is clearly the most feared. This is a knockout artist in football parlance. That's who Tyreek Hill is.
That's right.
And when you've got him to throw the football to, if you are Tua, and it is a regular season award, I don't understand for the life of me how you can summarily dismiss and call it crazy to say that Tua is going to be an MVP candidate. Because he's going to have the yardage and they're going to make the playoffs.